so as we mentioned, we're here to talk about our Denver glass recycling pilot that we're going to be launching this year. We've partnered with, as I mentioned, OI and the Denver Broncos to bring this program to life. So a little bit of background as to why this is important to us. Anheuser Busch has sustainability goals for 2025 to have 50% recycled content in our materials. OI has recycling goals as well. Sammy, if you want to hop in and share those.
Yes, our goal as OI is to get to 50% by 2030. It is a big challenge. We need a lot of tons, and we need to find ways to get that glass back into the glass stream.
Yes. So as Sammy mentioned, there's glass recycled content is a huge challenge for us. This is something that we're trying to overcome, and we're hoping that this pilot can help mitigate that. Why we're interested in launching this program in Colorado is because the recycling rate in Colorado is between 15 to 16%, which is well below the national average of 35%. And in order for us to all advance, we all need to work together to increase our glass recycling and change consumer behavior. The local infrastructure in Colorado has failed, and that's why not has failed, but has some work that needs to be done to make it more accessible to the people and allow them to be more involved in glass recycling and encourage them to be a part of this program. So how can we help? A couple of years ago, Anheuser Busch launched the National Recycling League initiative. We partnered with our local sports teams to encourage patrons at sports games to recycle more often. So there's a couple ways that we've partnered with our teams to bring this program to life. You can see a picture on the right here. The Denver Broncos switched from plastic to aluminum cups. And we've done recycling hawker events where people have gone up and down the aisles to collect bottles and cans and increase the recycling happening at these sports events. This is a huge waste and an opportunity that we tried to capture. So since then, we've worked with more than 20 teams that have joined the National Recycling League across the MLB, the NFL, the NBA. And we found that people that we were working with see an average of a 15% increase in their recycling rate across the board. So we know that this program works, and we have the stats to prove it. So this is our chance to expand this program outside of just the sports arenas and bring it to life in a community. And Denver will be our first community that is expanding outside of just a sports team. There's a really unique opportunity here in the Denver community. Denver is one of the most sports crazed cities and one of the country's only cities that has all 6 major professional sports leagues. So by leveraging our partnerships with these sports teams, we're hoping to gamify the experience and bring more consumers into the recycling space. So as I mentioned, this is our first expansion outside of a sports team. So this is our introduction of the National Recycling League, the Denver Series. We'll be gifting glass recycling bins to communities who are interested. This is a mock-up of what that bin will look like. So you'll see we've utilized the Broncos colors, and we have a big marketing campaigns with the Broncos in place to help spread the word, bring awareness to the program, and again, encourage consumers and get the word out to as many people as possible. If the city of Denver can fill these bins, AB will cover a celebratory round of beer for everybody in the city. Here's some examples of the campaign assets that we talked about. So there'll be a sweeps involved. There'll be a QR code on the bins where consumers can scan to be entered to win a sweepstakes. There'll be signs at bars and restaurants, digital banners across the city to, again, get the word out, spread the word on these bins, and encourage consumer participation. We're doing a 360 campaign, so there'll be paid media, digital, social. We'll be doing live events in the city. We have local stakeholder engagement with the wonderful Recycle Colorado that we have brought in, who have been a great partner for us thus far, and local media as well behind this. And we're hoping that it'll be so successful that story will be picked up and carried through news outlets across the city, and we'll all have a great story to tell through our partnership in bringing this program to life. So our ask for the communities today are to please reach out to us following this call, and we'll be sending follow-up emails as well. If you're interested in hosting a bin, to start brainstorming where these bins could be placed in your communities. In scheduling this next call, there's a few considerations that we've outlined here. What does the current infrastructure look like? Do you guys have recycling centers? Questions along those lines to get a better understanding of where the community is at today and where we can kind of help partner to advance this. We'd love to hear from you guys. We're really, really excited about this program. We think it has a huge potential to have an impact and hopefully increase glass recycling rates across the city. So thank you all so much for the time today. The OI team and I are happy to answer any questions. Feel free to throw them in the chat or just unmute and let us know. And here's our contact info as well, which we'll share out with everybody, or Recycle Colorado can share with you all. So please get in touch if you're interested.
Thank you, Hannah. I see we already have a couple of questions in the chat.
Yeah, sorry, I just chatted them and I wasn't sure how long the presentation would go. One of the things I think is I just want to better understand is I don't think, do they sell glass beverages in the stadiums?
They do not. So we will
Right.
be having an aluminum bin as well that we'll be giving to the Broncos that they can have on site, just to kind of create cohesion through the program. The relationship with the Broncos is more so just to spread the word and hopefully increase consumer participation. People
And
love.
so you'll have drop-off locations. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just want to kind of grasp this. So you'll have drop-off bins at these stadium locations.
No. So the drop-off bins will be within the communities. So the bins are kind of at your discretion. We'll partner with you to say, do you have space that you could put one of these bins? They're fairly large, so we'll kind of need to
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah.
How many bins am I allowed to just keep asking a million
Yeah,
questions?
absolutely.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys let me know because I have a million. How many bins do you currently have placed?
We have 4 bins currently. We have some still under construction and some pending conversations and communities that we're talking to. We have, I guess 4 bins confirmed. Production of the bins is still underway. They take about 4 to 6 weeks to produce, and then an additional week or 2 for decoration, decaling, all of that. So,
and where do they go? Like, are these bins all going to the same location right now?
I can jump in a little bit. So what we're trying to do here is find a way to help communities that don't have glass recycling to create glass drop-off locations.
Yeah.
Throughout
and you're fighting kind of an idea that glass is not recyclable, right? Because I mean,
correct.
Even the concept of stadiums not putting drinks in glass, like glass has at least I'm a Colorado native, right? Like MRFs all over this state for years do not want to receive glass. Like you're fighting kind of this mentality of like, this is not a recyclable grade and we will not take this because drop-off centers all over this state do not take glass.
Absolutely. What we're trying to do is support places that don't have glass recycling. We think there's a gap and areas where sometimes there's not single stream in their glass recycling system, where their glass is not accepted. And then there's places in Colorado and around Denver area where there's really no recycling at all. And then there's places in Colorado that you have to privately arrange your recycling through different companies. So what we're trying to do is fill the gap that there is. There's a need where we need to have more collection sites so people have the opportunity to recycle in communities that are underrepresented in those systems.
And do all these bins then go to a location in Colorado? Where do they go?
Sure, I can. The logistics. So OI in 2022 bought Momentum Recycling. It's now called Glass to Glass Denver. What we've done is we've invested a lot of money to make it more efficient, better cleanup systems. So what we're looking for is more glass to fill that capacity. Yeah. And we cannot think of a better way to get that capacity higher than to partner with AB and figure out how to waste to divert. The more that we keep away from the landfills, the better we will do in Colorado's recycling rates. This program is not to compete with MRF, glass that is flowing through the MRFs. This is to
generate new material.
because that's what Colorado really needs. If you don't generate new opportunities or new collection sites, the recycling rate will stay the same. Clearly, the participation is not there, and the opportunity to recycle is not going to every resident in Colorado. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find a way to support the ecosystem.
I'm done after this. I swear, I'm all done.
It's okay.
So I'm a broker in the state of Colorado, and we work with a lot of outlying communities to sell their recycled products. So, you know, I think the question when I talk to my customers about this program would be, what are the stipulations for having bins placed? So how would I then direct my customers when they're saying, oh, you know, now Colorado wants your glass, if you're a drop-off center, how do we get them set up, or who do they contact through you, your you know, this partnership to see if they would meet the requirements for logistics and stipulations of the material?
Yeah, so that's why what in the next steps is let's have a conversation. We want to understand what you're doing, what are your pain points, and try to solve the efficiency. What we're trying to do is figure out if we can make it work. There are limitations to the logistical radius of this program, but let's talk. Let's figure it out. Here it's to collaborate, to remove some roadblocks.
Well, and you can hub and spoke it, you know, like that's what a lot of these communities have done for years and years is, you know, you get a bin place and multiple communities contribute to the bin. But I guess what I'm wondering is like, I don't know, right, what the stipulations are. So where would I send the customers that I have that might be interested in this program?
We'd love to set up a call and just get, I think the best thing is just to dive into every community. Every community is different
You want me to have them text you, Sammy, or like, should I give them a certain person's name, or
Hannah or I? Yeah,
okay.
Hannah or I can connect with. We'll set up a meeting and get into the details on every community and just go right through those next step questions of what's going on, so we can understand a little bit better and see how we can support and figure out how we can remove those roadblocks. Because the more collaborators and resources we have, I think we can solve more problems. And that's kind of what we're trying to do. Maybe some communities don't have equipment, and that's a big issue. There's a CapEx there. Now, AB is coming and investing in equipment. We have the logistical capability. It's just we're trying to untangle the complexity of recycling and some of those roadblocks. That's what we're trying to do.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry that I monopolized this. Thanks.
No problem. I'm
Great
sending contact information through as well. So I'll put that in.
I have a question too. So up here in Longmont, I do have a recycling center, and we only are currently accepting single stream. And this is really fascinating to me because a couple of things. One is we get a lot of our businesses and surrounding areas to come all the way to Longmont because they don't have recycling services in Frederick, Firestone, or what have you. But with that said, also we are approved. We are approved to initiate our universal recycling ordinance that requires commercial entities to recycle starting January 1st. So this could be something that could help offset that pain point for businesses along our main street, the bars and the restaurants and all of that. So I'd be interested maybe next week if we could have a chat to see if it could work, and I could show you our recycle center. I have cameras, so we could do it remotely to see if something like that would work, and we'll go from there if that's okay.
Yeah.
Would be great, Charlie. Just to let you know, we're already working on one recycling center, trying to figure that out. So recycling centers are good places to try to figure out how we can work together. Absolutely, would love to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Such good conversation. Everybody wants in. I'd like to invite Scott DeFife to chime in. I know he's got a lot to offer on this.
Sure. No, thanks, Liz. And I have questions for Ashton because I want to get at all those people who are being told the incorrect things about glass recycling in Colorado. And, you know, maybe if I put a one-pager together, you can get them to all your contacts, because it's really, we've always wanted the glass back in Colorado. Colorado's got a perfect opportunity for a circular glass recycling infrastructure. We make the bottles in Colorado. There's a huge end market with our Anheuser Busch friends and other beer companies in Colorado that fill the product into glass in Colorado. And we have recycling facilities in Colorado. So we've always wanted the glass back. It's our, can I say friends, in a way that Congress talks about their friends, right?
Yeah, so I think,
It's our
you
friends
know,
from the MRF community that don't want the glass. And
sure, and there's a lot of reasons why, right? And I don't want to, like, again, monopolize this whole thing, but what happens, like on the MRFs in Denver, that's a whole different thing, right? Like they're able to generate a large amount of glass. They're logistically close to getting it to an end user. They're
Yep.
able to make weight. And then if there's not a rebate, there's some sort of coverage in their overall business model that says, okay, we're losing money on glass, but we're making X number of dollars on other commodities. So, you know, when I work with recycling centers, they're not recycling glass, right? They're recycling a broad range of different materials. So I guess what I would say is typically glass has been, you know, without being unkind, it's a loser in Colorado, right? Because, or has been in the past, a loser in Colorado, because if it's out, you know, like I think about the eastern side of this state, they're far away. There tends not to be enough dollars in the material to get it from point A to point B. So how do customers get it? And then how long does it take them to generate a load or a partial load, right? I mean, I'm not an expert in any way, but certainly for years, customers have said, what do I do with glass? And I've said, it's a loser. And you need to
this is what I want to
send it
fix
to
right here,
Ripple, or
right?
you need to
So
send it to someone else.
this is what I want to talk to you about fixing, right? And so there's big differences between clean streams of drop-off glass and mixed, commingled, broken, contaminated MRF glass.
Sure.
Which is why they don't translate one to the other, because the MRF glass has negative value because it's so contaminated with other stuff, right?
Of course.
And as
I've seen it. We've seen it. Yeah.
you know, so we would love to work with you some more to help get the right, you know, notes out there. And I understand the issues of distance. That's why we're working on at the national level, we've got a hub and spoke going in Eastern Washington that I think we can replicate in Colorado.
Well, in our company at Centennial Recycling, I was telling Liz when I came in, the reason I'm on this call is we, for the very first time, made a deal on full loads of glass. It's never happened in our company's history before. So like for us, it's a learning curve too. So that's why I'm here. I'm excited to learn about this, because for the first time ever, we put together a deal that we would have never done before. And it wasn't through necessarily OI, but like, you know, we met a lot of you guys at the conference. Like, I'm excited to be a part of this. I just don't understand how we kind of make it all spoke and work.
That's why we're here to help. I'm their trade association, and we provide that national policy and infrastructure and kind of policy coordination work to help put the pieces together. And that's why I want to help, you know, follow up with you on those kinds of things going forward.
Awesome.
And Longmont, you're close enough that, you know, you're, you know, you don't have the distance issues. I mean, you're close enough to glass to glass that everything. Oh, did he leave? He had to go.
I think so.
An appointment. Yeah.
He's a hop, skip, and he's a stone's throw from your facility. So that should work easily.
And Ashton, I think one of the beauties of the program that Anheuser Busch and OI are putting forward is this is a way to not only capture more glass, but to meet the needs of the MRFs that don't want the glass in their single stream. As Scott was just saying, glass is a standalone source separated product has always been a valuable commodity unless you reach a certain distance away from the Front Range. As long as you're dealing with reasonable mileages from the Front Range, source separated glass has always been an attractive commodity for most recycling drop-off centers. Unfortunately, for single stream systems, it creates what you're describing in terms of it starts to devalue some of the other materials. And so a lot of MRFs don't want it. And this system works in their favor. This helps get some of that glass out of that single stream system and get it into a place where its value is maintained. And so I just wanted to put that out there, that it's not like you're totally off base with what you're saying. You're absolutely right. That's what you're hearing from the MRFs. And that's what this program is trying to do in a different way, is to collect it as glass only. I hope that helps clarify. And I know that Scott will follow up with you, because we recognize in the recycling industry, especially when we're talking about glass, that we're combating a lot of misinformation. Like when you see an article that says plastic isn't, or recycling is broken, and they're talking about number 3 plastic, right? But people assume that applies to all materials put into the recycling bin. And so it's a constant battle to try and clarify the narrative that's coming out of the media. And I don't want to interrupt. Ashton, did anybody have any other comments? Because I had a few questions as well.
I just wanted to, with the MRFs, we want to complement, this is not about taking glass out of current single streams. This initiative is to complement and increase the volume, because if you look at where the glass is being recycled currently in Colorado, is through single stream. The majority is. So it's not about a win-lose, what's better. It's about making everything better, and increasing participation is the way that I look at it. Not go substitute this. This is a better system for your city. We're not advocating. It's maybe all of your residents in your community are getting MRF and single stream services, but maybe there's an area in your community, like a bar district, that they want to recycle more, and they're willing to walk their glass at the end of the night, which we see in other cities that go and dump the glass. And you have these strategically placed drop-off locations where we know there's a lot of glass consumption, and people are going to participate. That's what we're trying to achieve. Pull out more glass from the landfill, not necessarily replace. We want to make all the streams and all the collections better, not substitute. I want to make the system better. I think we all want to make that system better.
How do you decide, or what, how do you say, okay, there's a need for glass recycling here? Like you had just said, I'm not going to quote you right, but you had just said, like, oh, this is an area where there's a lot of glass. Like how do you know that?
So what we did from when we started this, looking at Colorado, and that's been one of my responsibilities. I actually went through looking at every community in Colorado and seeing what their system looks like, and what communities have residential single stream that is organized by the local government, which one are privatized, where the resident needs to go find their own private company to get recycling service, single stream, which ones have recycling centers, which ones don't have a recycling system at all. And we saw that there's a need overall in Colorado for more opportunity to recycle. So that's how this process started. What we want to do is not just go focus on this community needs it more. We want to offer it to everybody, and let's have a conversation, because what we've learned in this process is what you sometimes think it's best for somebody, it's not, because we're not local. We want the local communities to tell us, we've been wanting to do this innovative recycling system. We want to put a recycling bin in all our grocery stores because we want to partner with a grocer that, that's what we're trying to get. That we want to be collaborative, not say, here's a need, let's just go there. And that's why we're offering it to everybody, and let's have a conversation.
And to give it some context, Ashton, my understanding is right now the glass facilities that are manufacturing glass are importing from out of state 2/3 of the material they need. So what that's telling us is 2/3 of the glass that goes out onto shelves to be sold to consumers is buried in landfill and not returned to the system. So clearly we have a lot of ground to make up and to fill in those gaps to get that glass that's put on the shelf for sale back in to the remanufacturing process.
In Colorado, it's more like 4/5 is probably going to landfill. And just, I mean, there's enough glass in Colorado to meet the needs of both of the plants, and they both need more on top of what they're already getting now. So, they could take almost all the glass in Colorado if we could get it to them.
Yes, I will confirm that fact for both of you. We need a lot of glass, and unfortunately, the current supply that is produced in glass to glass is not enough to cover our needs. So we're looking at different ways, but we think that the most economical and beneficial, if we really want a circular economy, is to look in your neighborhood and in your area. That is the first place you need to focus, and that's why AB is in this, and we're in this because we know the value that it's going to bring to everybody here involved.
Thank you. And Hannah, could I ask you to reshare the slide that has the map of where this program is initially looking to land containers, to put containers on the ground? Because I think a lot of what Ashton is referencing is applicable to those communities that are a bit outside of your initial target, your initial zone. So as I understood the presentation, you're trying to capitalize on the Denver metro area, trying to capitalize on the connection that community has with our sports teams, and then leverage that fandom so that, hey, as part of not only doing what's right for Colorado, but to help your local sports team, we're going to have these glass containers that do that. So when you look at that map, outside of that circle right now, those communities outside of that circle are not part of this initial program. There may well be the opportunity, if this is successful, to expand that circle bigger. But for the moment, what you're looking at are people that fall within that radius, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can say the circle is not exactly to scale. So I can't say that if you're right on the border, we can or can't be a part of the program. But yeah, so for instance, we have kind of towards the bottom tail end of the circle, a bin going down in Castle Rock community. And we also have a bin going in Pueblo, which is well outside of the circle. The Pueblo instance is there's a ton of tonnage that can be collected. And so because of the volume, we are able to include them in this program. So it's kind of a case-by-case basis for those outliers. But in terms of what's close to glass in the facility, that's what makes sense for us right now in terms of volumes and hauling and providing everything at no cost to these communities. And Sammy, feel free to chime in.
Sure. Thanks, Hannah. You brought up Pueblo, and what's going on, it's all about how much aggregation and weight we can transport. That's what dictates the cost per ton. So I think we can look beyond the circle, but that's why in your next steps it says, can you aggregate glass, can you crush it? So I think what we want to do is we do want to hear from you. Maybe we won't have a solution right away, but if we can work on a solution, we will try the idea. AB is very open to finding innovative ways and partnering, and we are too. So I would say, don't just say, well, this circle, I'm not in the circle, but maybe there's a way that as a partner, you can contribute to making the system more economical, and that it makes it a win for everybody, and trying to figure out how we can solve these issues of hauling and weight and working together. So I know it says that circle, but I think if you guys are okay, I wouldn't mind hearing from anybody else that wants to work on something and try to be creative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's fair to say that the circle is a target, but it's not a hard line, right? So
Exactly.
it might be difficult for someone that's on the far western edge of the state, like Grand Junction, to be part of the initial project, but it depends on the answers to those questions in your next step. It depends. There's a lot of factors that play into whether or not it's something that you guys can add to your initial project. And I do want to acknowledge that Ashton threw into the chat is, if you were to get all the communities within that circle to participate and you were to put on the ground all the bins that you've ordered, would that meet your needs? And I'll let you answer that question.
I think very good question. I think we can get close. We have a huge amount of need. Just to give you an idea, we could use initially 50,000 more inbound tons of glass. With all the bins and all the spend that AB is gonna, for the containers, I think we're gonna get closer, but the demand is huge because the commitment on recycled content from AB and from OI is so much larger, and our production is so big that I think it's going to be short, but it's a good problem to have. If you have more glass and gets bigger and bigger, I think we will be, as a state and as all of us collaborating, we will be very happy to have that problem. And we'll figure something out. We want more glass.
And I'm going to jump in here because I want to be sure that we acknowledge that Kathy from El Paso County was able to join us a little bit late. So thank you, Kathy, for making time. We are in the Q&A period. I will leave it to you to go back and watch the recording so you can catch the whole presentation. But in short order, what Anheuser Busch and OI Glass are doing is they're offering to put, I think they're 30-yard glass, 30-yard gable tops. Is that correct? Or 20-yard?
I think it's 18 feet is the dimension, so I think it's like a 20-yard.
Okay.
We have two sizes. We have 15-yarders and 20-yarders.
Okay.
Depending what we are kind of working as we start, in the next steps, if we start talking with y'all directly, that's one of the things that as it gets further out in the radius, we do want larger bins because that creates more tonnage per pool, and it just makes the program more sustainable. What we want to do is, what we're committed as AB and OI, we want to create these programs that are going to last 20 years. We just don't want to go deploy them and then the economics are not making sense and then they stop. We're building these so these programs continue to provide that service to the community. So we try to really work on that aspect of making it more efficient, more cost effective for everybody involved, taking a collaborative approach. So we can see these programs grow, not just 3 years and then something changes, the market changes, goes away. We're trying to make it last for the long term because we're here for the long term.
Thank you, Sammy. So I'll pause briefly and ask Kathy, did you have any questions that you were coming to this presentation to hope to get answered?
No, I've heard, I had talked with somebody about it before. And so I just kind of wanted to see, what things we're doing now and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I had a meeting with Danielle, I believe, or someone a while ago. Oh yeah, Danielle. Yeah, there you are. You're on there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so we're still considering that. So I just wanted to kind of see where we were at and that kind of stuff, and if anything else had changed since then. So.
And I think one of the things that's really new for me about bringing Anheuser Busch into this partnership effort is there's a little bit more being offered in terms of the resources. So I know previously OI Glass was working with several communities to pay for the cost of the container itself. And then it was up to the community or the partner at the location to pay for the hauling costs. And as I understand it, that's where Anheuser Busch is coming in, is to take that barrier away and help cover those costs. Is that accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. So bins will all be at no cost to the community. So they'll be, Anheuser Busch will be paying for the production, placement of everything, and OI will be handling all of the hauling of those bins. Our only ask really from the community is that they're able to call in the hauling. I'm located in St. Louis. Sammy's in Texas, Danielle is in North Carolina, so we don't have boots on the ground there to be able to monitor all of these bins. So the really only responsibility or lift that we ask from these communities is that once those bins are full, they're able to call in the hauling to OI.
Sorry if this is obvious. Is that because AB is saying we need more recycled content in our bottles, and so we're gonna help bring it into OI so that we can then purchase more recycled content in our glass?
Exactly. Yep. So we
That's
have a
awesome.
gap.
Way to go, AB.
Yeah, somebody had to do it, we had to step up.
Yeah, just to add on, yeah, the hauling we can handle, or what we can do, there is a value for the glass. So the value of the glass could be an offset for you guys, that glass to glass would pay for the hauling. So we can handle depending on the needs and how the community would want to, because some communities already have haulers, hauling partners, they have their own hauling. So we can kind of work through that and figure out how we can work it base by base cases.
Yeah, absolutely. We're very flexible with this program as well. We have a community bought in who just refurbished their bins, so they didn't want to take a brand new bin because they had just invested in fixing those. So we're talking about them just in terms of bringing them into the program, providing the hauling and counting that tonnage towards this program. So we're very flexible, as Sammy said. So just happy to talk through every community's need individually and kind of tailor the program to what makes sense for them.
And one of the questions I have about the bins themselves, are they the capacity to be either hauled by a hook truck or a cable truck, or are they specifically designed to be cable or hook trucks?
Yeah, so I can talk a little bit about that. Every container we manufacture based on the specs. If you have a tractor trailer that already needs a hook or a cable, it will be manufactured based on that. We work with a local manufacturer in the area that will get that info as we go and as we understand the requirement of the number of containers. AB and OI will work together with the community to make sure that we are giving you the right equipment. Yeah, part of the process.
And another question I had noted that I think would be of interest is if the bin is contaminated to the point where it is not suitable to be taken to glass, how is that managed? Is that on the community to pay for that to be disposed of, or is that something that this program will help with?
What the way we've designed the bins are, they have a roof and dormer doors, which are these circular doors that can only fit a certain amount size bottles. So we don't have these just open roll-offs. They have a roof. They have a sliding door that has a lock. So what we've designed them so that you can have them supervised or unsupervised. If they're unsupervised, residents can only throw a size bottle so we don't get trash. If we use it correctly, based on all the programs that we've done across the country, we already know what the rate would be. If you have an unsupervised container and you have the door open and people can dump larger things, as you can see in this page, you have the sliding door as well as the circular door. So if you're unsupervised, you lock the sliding doors, people can go one bottle at a time, that reduces contamination. And if you're in a recycling center where you have people supervising our cameras, you can let them dump. This model, from our experience, has kept contamination low. If there's a trash bag, we're not gonna get picky. What we're gonna ask for communities is we'll provide that information, and we're gonna ask for some sort of action plan. Let's work together and figure out how we can resolve the issue at the collection site and see if there's a solution. That our approach is, let's figure out the problem, not just go and shut it down. Because we've seen in the past that contamination leads in the high 90s with a 5% contamination rate if these containers are used correctly and properly.
Thank you, Sammy. And I saw Scott and Kathy both came on camera. So Scott, did you want to add to that?
No, I mean, Anheuser Busch leadership here is fantastic. Those are nice looking containers there. I just think also for El Paso County and areas outside the circle, you know, that may be where the Glass Recycling Foundation and the industry, you know, coalitions can help, you know, expand that range. We have, you know, ability to do some matching grants and things like that. Especially
fantastic. That is great news. And Kathy, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, I just wanted to, and you may have already talked about this, but I just want to be specific on what you allow. Is that really technically any food and beverage glass, but no lids, right?
Lids. So, like caps or.
Well, you know, like, I mean, so is it any food and beverage glass? So like a jelly jar or something like that, is that allowed, or is it bottles only?
All container glass is allowed. We don't need the caps removed. We have the equipment, but if they clean up the glass, it's more beneficial for, you know, we got more room in the container. So that's where you kind of got to think convenience or volume. So we want to strike a balance, but we would accept no lids, no caps, glass. I will tell you, there's no need, as long as it's container, as long as there's no need for, as long as there's no need for washing, no need to wash your containers. But other than that, we can take it mixed, we don't need it color sorted. We're trying to make it easier for residents, and as long as it's container glass.
Okay. Thank you.
And just to clarify before we close things up, Hannah, can you describe what the offer is from the program in terms of what is the funding available for, and then what is the ask of the community, and what sort of financial resources would they have to contribute to make this work?
Yeah, absolutely. So just again, to outline the program, it is at no cost to these communities. Anheuser Busch will be paying for all of the production of the bin, the placement of the bin in the community, delivery of the bin to the community, and OI will be handling the hauling of those bins on a monthly, biweekly, however often they're filled up basis, based on that tonnage and ability to provide. The only ask we have for the communities is being able to monitor these bins, calling in the haulings once they are full. In terms of financial commitment from these communities, we don't need any financial commitment other than a staff, or again, a person that is able to monitor the bin, call it in when it's full. Again, whether that happens monthly, biweekly, but yeah, being that resource to connect with OI so they know when to come pick up the bins.
And I see, I really like this question. Thank you, Ashton. What is the strategy for making sure the community knows about the bin? Does a media strategy or an outreach strategy, is that part and parcel of being part of the program?
Absolutely. So we'll be doing paid digital out of home ads. We'll be doing newspaper ads, digital banners on apps in the community, very targeted, hyper local to the Denver area and the communities that we're having these bins in. We'll be partnering with our wholesalers and local retailers to put signage at key accounts, convenience stores, grocery stores. So trying to hit consumers with as many touch points as we possibly can to build awareness of the program, as well as the partnership with the Broncos. They'll be doing announcements at the games. They'll be amplifying our message on their social media. We're going to be looking to partner with them on on-site activations, community activations, just spreading the word as much as possible. So we have a lot of people behind this. Anheuser Busch OI will also be representing the program and spreading the word as well. So working with local people like Recycle Colorado, Keep America Beautiful as a national partner that we work with to kind of, again, spread the word, amplify the message. So hitting as many touch points as we possibly can. So hopefully people will be able to find these bins and be aware of the program.
Thank you. And Danielle, I noticed you came back on. Did you want to add to that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I had to look off for a minute, but no, I mean, we're pretty pumped. I mean, we we'll be doing some marketing on our end too from our internal comms team, and helping amplify the message about how recyclable glass is, and encourage it not only in Colorado but all over the US. And yeah, we're excited to really get these bins placed and being able to amplify the message. So
thank you. I'm really excited that Colorado has been a chosen location for this program. I think there's a lot of potential to really move the numbers for glass. And before I conclude, let me say thank you to Hannah and Sammy and Danielle for giving us this presentation, making this possible. We will share out the recording will be posted on our website along with your contact information. Before I close this out, did anybody have any final thoughts?
What's the time frame for the bin placement?
So it depends on, we're working on producing a few bins just to have ready to go as we have these conversations with communities. So if we have stock of the bins, we can get those decorated and placed within a few weeks. If we don't have a bin ready to go, or it's not the right size for the community, or it kind of needs to be tailored in a different way, we're looking at about 4 to 6 weeks for production of the bin, about a week or two to decorate and decal the bin, and then it can be placed. Our bin producer is in Colorado, in Greeley, so it can be placed within a week or less as soon as it's decorated. So
is there any opportunity for current bins to be repurposed and decorated to accelerate that and prevent having to use resources to manufacture a new one?
I think absolutely. If the community has a bin that they would like to be decorated or repurposed for this program, definitely something we're interested in doing. And yeah, we're trying to build kind of a bit of a backstock of bins just to mitigate the time in placement and turnaround time once we have these conversations. So
if we wanted to move forward with this, how would we do so?
absolutely. I will share with Liz and Allie the presentation as well as all of our contact information for her to share with you all. And then if it's okay with you, they can share your contact information with us. Sammy, Danielle, and I can reach out over email, connect individually, understand the needs of the community, and kind of get going that way.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Kathy, I just dropped into the chat all of their email.
Okay.
If you want to grab that, we will, as Hannah said, we will have that available in other places. But if you wanted to just grab it right now,
I will.
put that. Thank you for sharing it earlier, Hannah. And if I'm understanding correctly, I don't think Kathy could see it because she joined after you had shared it in the chat. Only shows you what's been posted since you joined. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ashton, for bringing your best questions and your most inquisitive self to this. I think that helped drive the conversation in a very useful way. Thank you. Thank you, Kathy, for making time to be here. Thank you, Scott, for bringing your expertise. This was wonderful. And I hope everyone has a great day.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
y'all.
Thanks,
Thank
Liz.
you.
Thanks, everybody.
so much. Bye.